Hi everyone, today I'm going to be talking about the books that I have read within the past month, which was September 2015. So there are 5 books in total, and I'm just going to get stuck in. So, the first one that I have is The Girl by Samantha Geimer. Um, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce her last name. I'm sure I always say this in videos. I don't know how to pronounce people's last names. I'm not the best at it. But basically, this is the girl that is at the centre of the Roman Polanski rape case, where he was accused of date raping a 13-year-old girl in Hollywood. And this is the girl who, as I said, is at the centre of the case. So this is a story basically, and normally I quite like a gritty true life story, but there was something about this that I just didn't get. I just didn't go for. It's a bit. I found it a bit difficult to read, and not because of the subject matter, because I've read quite a lot of books like that, and in fact, I've actually got another one with the same sort of subject matter in my pile. So I do find that I'm able to read gritty storylines, which a lot of people would find uncomfortable. But there was something about this book where I just found that for the subject matter and what the book is about. I mean, on the front of it, it even has that she's the girl in the Roman Polanski rape case. Um, I just found that it didn't actually talk too much about what actually happened. I feel it was sort of I feel like it sort of skimmed over it and then went on to her problems with drugs and things. Um, and I found the book a little bit difficult to read, so I didn't really enjoy that one, and I probably wouldn't read that one again. Yeah, but that's the girl. Next up, we've got Sins of the Mother by Irene Kelly. This is the other gritty book that I was talking about, Sins of the Mother. I mentioned this in a book haul that I did recently, where it's a girl was one of several children in a family in Ireland, and she was her mother couldn't cope, and her father was away, so her mother they ended up all getting taken from the mother for neglect and sent into an institution for a while. Um, and it's the story of what happened to them inside this institution, which was an orphanage run by nuns. Um, and yeah, if you're not into gritty reads, this is really gritty. This is the sort of read where I'm normally quite good with reading things like this. And although I find it horrific, I find it easy to sort of read through it and then wait for the next bits to come, the sort of the happier ending sort of thing. But with this one, I did find that I had to put it down a couple of times and sort of do something else before I could come back to it, because some of the things that I read were just so horrible. So this is a very difficult read to get through, not because of the writing style or anything, but because of the subject matter. But that being said, I really enjoyed this. This is such a good story, and one thing that I really did like about this was that it is not just written by the author. It jumps back and forth between the author's husband, and the author's daughter, and you get to see the implications of a childhood of abuse on the people around you as you grow up and go on and things, because she probably didn't realize at the time how much she actually was affecting her daughter, and her daughter didn't know anything that had happened to her in the past. And it's not just the institution. She had quite an unfortunate life. Like she had, like, her first husband was abusive, and she ended up leaving Ireland altogether in the end. And I wouldn't exactly call this one a feel good book, because often stories of abuse leave on quite a positive note, but I feel like the damage inflicted upon this woman was quite strong and carried on into her adult life and affected her relationships with her children and with her husband and things. And for that reason, I found it very sad read, and there's also a lot of people not believing her and things like that when she goes for help in the end. So I found that quite difficult to deal with as well, the fact that she wouldn't be believed. Um, but all in all, I really did think this was a very good read. Um, but as I've said before, I'm really into human nature stories and finding out how people react, and finding out about things that people do. So although very difficult read, also a good read that I'm pleased I read, and I would read it again. So that might be one to think about if you're into that sort of genre like I am. Then we have Sleep Tight by Rachel Abbott. I mentioned this in a book haul recently, and when I read it, it was actually a million times better than I thought it was going to be. I loved this book. I couldn't get through it quick enough, but at the same time, I didn't want it to end because it was just so good. To compare it to something else I've read before, I would say that this is along the same sort of lines of Gone Girl. If you loved Gone Girl, you're going to love this. And it also reminded me of a Julia Roberts film called Sleeping with the Enemy. So if you've seen that and like that, you're going to love this. I don't really want to go into it because it's one of those books that has so many different sort of surprises jumping out at you, and to discuss it at length would really probably ruin some of those surprises, so I won't. But I can't recommend this highly enough. This has been one of my favourite reads of this year. It's so good. Just to briefly go into it, without spoiling anything, it starts with Olivia Brooks calling the police to say that her husband and her children are missing. So the police turn up to the house and start trying to figure out where the husband and children have gone. And then, after it goes through all of that and you read it and you're getting into it, it jumps forward 2 years' time. And this time it's Olivia and the children that are missing. But all of her stuff is still there. And when the police turn up, her purse is still on the side. And um, it's it's a massive mystery book as to where has she gone, and the husband is the one who calls this time. So it focuses a lot on the different characters, but it also, one of the main characters is actually one of the detectives, and I personally enjoyed his input to the book more than I enjoyed the storyline from the other people. So I found this such a good read, and I would definitely read it again. And in fact, I've already been on Amazon adding more of her books into my trolley. So that's how much I liked it. I think I found a new favourite author. Another thing that I did really like about this was that it is all set in the UK, which a lot of good sort of mystery books I've tend to find have been more American. This is UK based, so good for the UK readers. So definitely look that up if you're into that sort of book. Next up, we've got Age, Sex, Location by Melissa Pimentel. Again, another last name I can't pronounce. This is what I would say along the lines of a Bridget Jones style story. I mixed this in for some light relief in between all of the gritty books I'd been reading recently. I wanted something a little bit lighter and sort of easier to get through. This is a story about a woman who has moved from America to the UK, and she's living in London, and decides to start trying all of the different dating manuals, so the game and things like that, to try and find out what the effect is on men when she dates them. And although this was meant to be some light relief, I found this a little bit difficult to relate to. I didn't really connect with the main character very much, and I found me skim reading this a little bit. So although you've got quite a good storyline there, and at times it really was quite funny, for me, I just didn't really connect very well with the main character. One of the things I liked about this is that it was based on a blog by the author where she actually did this sort of thing, moved to London from America, and she tried this sort of thing in her life, and then the characters inspired from her and her experiences. So that, based on that, it is quite an interesting story, but like I say, I just didn't connect. That's not the book's fault. It was just, one of those things. It's not you, it's me. And last up, we've got this one, How to Be a Woman by Caitlin Moran. I won't say a lot about this because I'm going to do a separate video on this. But know this. This book had me enraged. Enraged, I think it's safe to say. I'm going to do a separate video on that, which I don't normally do, but if I start talking about this, we might be here for 20 minutes or so. So, yeah, I'm going to switch off now and I'm going to do a review on this. So, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.